Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever, whenever that you may be tuning in. This is Yonks. And yes, this is yet another live stream on AiAgents.Box. This is now day 11 of our 180-day sprint. And this is our sixth office hours for myIRA.fund. And this is a brand, ecosystem brand for an agent that we're planning to bring to market. And it's likely one of the things that Tyler, my wife, and I will personally be spending most of our efforts to bring to market. We've got some other tangential brands and it'll be interesting to see where we really get some traction, but not going to talk about that because we're here to talk about our office hours today. And one of the things that I will always talk about, and I'll do better at talking about this because I love our FELG culture: fun, earning, learning, and giving. And this is something here, like you can see, it's an office hours. They don't have really strict agenda. And one of the things that you mentioned on Telegram, and let me bring open our Telegram. Our Telegram is public. And here is I'm glad that you found your way over here, Lotus. Hopefully we can get I'm going to create a video to show people how to add the calendar. Here is our event calendar. I'm going to just go to our link tree because this is where we're organizing all of the links. I'm actually going to add here. I'm going to change this a little bit. Uh, this is just a link to here where you can subscribe. I actually like this little button here, add iCal subscription, and I'm going to create a breakout piece of content for that. But wanted to go back here to this was something that Ernest put forward in our on-chain ambassadors. And if you could, Ernest, what's your experience with Juicebox? I'm not too familiar. I've seen it several times, but if you wanted to share, what were your thoughts on Juicebox for the ambassador program?
Um, so it allows you to create a multi-sig that you can add multiple people to that automatically does and distributes um, a revenue share based on what's in the multi-sig. Um, it allows you to generate NFTs, subscriptions, or NFTs that give you um, whose funds then go into the juice box. And you can, it's basically the more than just Kickstarter. Um, but your Kickstarter, think Kickstarter with a multi-sig, and then NFTs as the face of the tokens and whatnot. So
Yeah, so let me actually just expand this to Juicebox, and then let's just talk about funding.
yeah. And then
Funding.
I'm familiar with their testnet too. So I can completely whip up a testnet juice box and you can test it.
And I'll take a look, and I'll see what
Yeah,
because
like go to
it
Juicebox DAO.
are you is this the right site, juicebox.money?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, let me put that on here.
Yeah, and then if
So
you open up the Juicebox DAO one, you probably see real easily. And then basically you set up a payment schedule and it just based equally distributed or 10% to this person, 20% to this person. Um,
And before we use an additional tool, I would really like to explore rewards. And this is also something too, like when I'm talking rewards, I'm talking in Charmverse. And this is for AI agents. Now, real quick, since this is in myIRA.fund, because I'm not sure, like I would be more potentially open for doing some things like Juicebox or some other things. I'm not sure exactly what um, the ethos of JuiceBox is. Um, but that's something like positioning AiAgents.Box as a public good, and we're on an office hours for myIRA.fund. And this is our Google Docs. This should be linked. We've got a pretty sprawling, but we're here on this Google Docs tab for this. Um, but funding mechanisms, I'm gonna create this tab down here. Let me rename this to funding, and this is where we can document some of our funding. I may even move this up because funding, having funds to do things makes it a lot more fun to engage, where you can create rewards that have a financial incentive and yada, yada, yada. Um, but one of the things, like besides Juicebox, I'm a fan of
Me
Giveth.io.
too. Me too.
It,
The cool thing I was thinking about Juicebox though, and you could probably do this and give it to some extent, but you could set up your tiers in Juicebox so you could see the like first ambassadors would be all part of one juice box, and then once that juice box had 100 people in it, you would create either team juice boxes that might be regionally oriented, or each additional ambassador after that first 100 would just set up and manage their own juice box, which would always kick a revenue share automatically back to the parent juice box. So when you're thinking of how to tier out an ambassador incentive program, or maybe an incentive program for something else, you can
I'm
structure your tiers with the juice box programs.
Yeah, I'm almost confident that in order to have the workflow, that's going to need to be done through WordPress, and not going to unpack all of that here. But that's really where planning to have that workflow is at 3win.social, with that's got a WordPress backend. It's messed up. I was playing around here with the tabs and it completely messed up because it got too deep here for this. That's a bummer. I'll have to fix that later. Um, anyway, getting back here. So I'm gonna put a link on let me just put this on this funding. Potential funding on-chain funding platforms to explore. So this isn't talking about Juicebox. Let me put that link over here. Juicebox.
Yeah, you can even put your agent's wallet addresses in a juice box to pay your agents. You get your agent swarm could essentially uh, have their own multi-sig that way, because you kind of one person just runs the one or two people run the multi-sig, um, but you could distribute revenue. You basically just toss other people into it and give them a percentage, and then you set up a distribution schedule. I haven't been in Giveth for a long time. That was probably my first crowdfunding program when they first changed their name to Giveth. I met with some of them.
Yeah, and they're doing the other thing too is just, and this isn't necessarily for my IRA.fund, but Gitcoin, Gitcoin, Gitcoin grants
Very nice.
round 23 is coming up after Denver 2025, or yeah, agents.box.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so and we'll see if that makes sense, because a lot of this will depend on what type of traction that we get for my IRA.fund. And I'm actually going to go here real quick to the Teams brand main tab, and then the my IRA.fund, because this is really where we're doing most of the organization around myIRA.fund right now. And the goal is really to create a go-to-market strategy that we can pretty much copy and paste, maybe change some other things with some of these other uh, brands and niches that we're wanting to build towards. Um, so one that I wanted to add here was add sub tab for uh, rename financial planners. Okay. And you think about like the functionality for somebody that wants to have a managed client using AI agents for that client, but we could probably use some synergy with the framework that we're going to be building with myIRA.fund to benefit financial planners. Very different onboarding workflow because then we would be working through the lens of a financial planner, CFP, RIA, some of those. But that's another opportunity too. Because the goal is to get some TVL here, because that's where the big value proposition of on-chain money is, that it can greatly reduce and have a lot more liquidity and fluidity and just divert it to provide portfolio diversification as well. But one of the things we've got our research assistant coming up here soon, this weekend, and I don't even have the uh, what's it called? The event yet. I'm gonna get that created after our office hours today. But here is Crew AI is also on our radar. We just concluded our Eliza deep dive, first deep dive around Eliza, and we were having some conversations about potentially using some templates with Crew AI. And let me actually, here's a window that I had open. So these are some, because I think it may be where we could potentially use one of these templates, get this crew.ai deployed within Fleek or somewhere else. I would really like to see if we could get that deployed in Fleek. Um, and whether that is viable to happen before our upcoming, and that's going to be six
All I
o'clock.
need,
Go ahead,
all I
Ernest.
need is a server API.
When you say server API, what do you mean by that?
They don't provide hosting. They provide
Well, that's
what
that's what
you.
Fleek is. Fleek is hosting.
So I don't. The provider doesn't matter. If you can go to Fleek and say, "Hey, does your hosting solution give me an API, a server API?" Answer is going to be yes or no. If it's yes, do it. Get that server API, and then I can start testing these out, spinning them up.
Yeah, well, we can. I'll take a look at what it looks like to, because I haven't done any exploration yet, but there, this does look like that it has um, some methodology, and this is also some templates that we could potentially use to, like, you know, collects prospect data, finds product connections, and creates personalized email content to engage them. Just thinking through some of the go-to-market strategy, like with myIRA.fund, is a potential mechanism. And like meeting preparation crew conducts research, analyzes industry trends, crafts sales strategies, and compiles a clear, actionable briefing for meetings.
Yeah,
So,
and when you try to go to create those, it's going to say, "Give me a server API."
is this what you're talking about, the Serper API?
Yeah. Well, well, that's not where it tells you. But when you go to, it says try it out. When you go to try it out and deploy a template, first question that it asks, server API to deploy this template on. So yeah, then it asks you for the API to connect to a language model.
Yeah, and I don't know if you heard this, but I think that this was announced at CES, Crew AI plus NVIDIA redefining AI agent capabilities.
Yeah, so NVIDIA has an agent right now that'll watch your gameplay and give you recommendations on how to improve your gameplay. You can do that right now, like go into their NVIDIA site. I'm running out of storage space on my computer.
All right. Well, we can unpack Crew AI more later. I don't know if, like I said, if that'll make sense, but I'm going to pull this off here right now.
I think it'll make
So,
sense, but it won't make sense till we have a server, either a virtual server or
but
we have
that's what I'm trying to say. Fleek is a VPS. It is a virtual server.
well, then they just need to set up. I don't know what you use on Fleek to set up that up and get a server API.
Yeah, and that would be a question that we could potentially like take on the Discord or something like that. I'm not familiar enough with Fleek yet, so that's something that we can have another conversation around. So, all right, well, just taking a look here, one of the things that I would like to talk about right now, and let me actually add this to our let's see, our office hours is a timestamp here. So we'll come back to the funding mechanisms later. And we're here at 35 minutes past the hour. So pitch event coming up here. Need to create a slide deck. And this is something that I mentioned here, pitch events, and have this one on the event calendar. So like over here, I did create a tag for pitch events. So this is something that I would encourage everybody to register for. I'm going to get the invite link, throw this in the Zoom. Um, I am planning to pitch and go through this process for learn more about Pitch Dojo. And let me see where the apply to pitch. Let me see what the application form is. First name, team information, title, country, Telegram handle. So maybe I should just go ahead and do this right now. Do you think I should fill this out? But right now, let's see. Register for Pitch Dojo. Throw this on the live stream as well for everybody. And I'm going to put this as a, oops, pitch events. Okay, let's see. Where'd my restream window go? Restream. And if anybody's watching the live stream, feel free to add some thoughts as far as some pitch events. And this is another functionality that would really like to have as far as an AI agent that is regularly keeping apprised of any pitch events that we could potentially pitch myIRA.fund. Because uh, as I've mentioned, I think that we can have a minimum viable product pretty quickly to create this. And this is one of the things that not today. We'll likely do that tomorrow during our office hours, but let's actually plan to do our minting or the create the smart contract to create the founding member NFT and gearing this founding member NFT for Web3 natives and going to have a money back guarantee until phase one launches when we will onboard our second tranche of people members, cooperative members into myIRA.fund, and we're going to cap that round to 1,000 people. But let me get that pitch event here for anybody on the live stream. Send. Okay. There's that pitch event. And I'm not going to do that right now, but I'll create a Google slide deck for starting this, and that's one of the things that we will get working on hashing out. But did anybody have any new ideas as far as here's some of the communities that already talked about as far as potentially creating this opportunity for. Um, but yeah, what are some other thoughts if there's anything else people that you could think of that we should reach out to for this first 100 founding members?
I do belong in a lot of groups, so I'll just share it with them when the time comes. We just need
Cool.
more clarity.
Well, and this is where like, it's again geared we're building this product for Tyler and I, Web3 natives that have money in an IRA account that we would like to have more access to DeFi. And this is another, again, research opportunity because, I've not been able to find some great service providers that do. Most of them have a transaction fee, and it doesn't sound like much, a 0.5% or 1%. But if you do any uh, quantity as far as from a swap standpoint or whatever, and then just like the opportunity to, do more instead of just basic things like buying and holding tokens, like participating more in liquidity pools through IRA account. So that's the main goal here with this first phase zero alpha phase. And this is one of the reasons also structuring a one-on-one with either myself or Tyler before onboard them as a founding member. Um, so yeah, that's something that we will also work on creating a myIRA agent to be onboarding for these customers. And the sooner that we can work on getting that created, um, but also talked a little bit about unstoppable domains. Is that something, Tyler, that you can take the lead on making that connection as far as with AiAgents.Box and just what we're building there with the unstoppable people?
Yeah, I'll take a look at it.
Awesome, thanks. So that's an action item for Tyler. Um, but yeah, we've kind of been all over the place here. We've got when is that KYC call coming up, Tyler?
We have two tomorrow. One is at I think seven. Look at my calendar. I think one's at 7:30 Mountain and one's at 10 Mountain or something like that. Let me just confirm that.
And
And
that's something too that if you, Ernest, or Lotus want to be on, let us know and we'll loop you in.
yeah, it's we've got Synapse, which is a French company, at 7:30 Mountain Time, and
Super early in the
Persona
morning.
at 10 a.m. Mountain Time.
Nice. And the reason that we're using these two KYC providers is because of that has integration functionality within Charmverse, and not just necessarily for myIRA.fund, but just within our ecosystem we're planning to use Charmverse. Also, let's see. Oh, this is one of the things that I didn't get on here that decide um, oh, uh, account, and I'm going to just use a account abstraction / chain abstraction. And I'm going to put a question. These are key decisions that we need to make because this is also an important thing because like having that in place will make getting, like you talked about, having some wallets for agents and stuff. And this is where we need to create the workflow where all of this stuff is automated through, some sort of program functionality where, and one of the tools that we're going to use, this is another special agent. And I'm gonna create like let me create a new tab because this is I think I talk about it enough. I think that this needs to be a main tab. And I'm gonna rename this to uh, special agents. And let me see if I can find a agent. No, what would be a good one? Is there like a detective one here?
Hmm?
Detective.
Do you have a magnifying glass?
I think I found the detective. So special agents to support our ecosystem slash brands. So Rewin, Zapier, mermaid.js. Um, uh, and this depending on what the framework evolves into, but like one of the other things too, having some naming standards. And let me put this design considerations. Make this a naming standards using .eth and or UNS. And UNS is unstoppable domains. And I'm going to go there real quick since I already talked about unstoppable domains. So this is something I've got to search for on Yonks. See, I could get I already got a lot of Yonks domains, but I got to see what we already have. But whether get Yonks or Yonks team, Yonks team is probably less expensive. I think that they have their pricing because one of the reasons that like unstoppable domains right here, all Web3 purchases are yours for life with a one-time payment and no renewal fees. This excludes DNS and .eth domains. So one of the reasons that like this is that again, you have a one-time price like $40 for yonksteam.x or yonksteam.wallet. And this is, like I think having some again naming standards so that we can look at and the opportunity to transpose this just within transcript is the opportunity that wanting to create so that we can make these templates when we're spinning up these AI agencies for whatever brand, whether it's a myIRA or whatever brand in our ecosystem. But that's just something that I wanted to um, talk about here. Let me put a link, or let me actually just put unstoppable domains, naming service. So, and have you used, I haven't used unstoppable domains that much, but I do know that they more recently got functionality on the base chain. I know that they were primarily on Polygon. I don't know what that looks like, but
Yeah, I got to check it back out because my website's broke that I have previously built. Um, yeah, I got to figure out what updates they've been doing. But when they first spun up, earnestofgaia.crypto, they had
and you
some
say
pretty
it's
cool
broken right
templates.
now?
Yeah, I don't think it'll earnestofgaia.crypto. Well, actually, right now, earnestofgaia.crypto. Yeah, earnestofgaia.crypto won't take you anywhere. To my knowledge, that's broke. I think it's the template website builder that I'm using through them is the reason why it's broke. They probably have an update. Um, but earnestofgaia.eth goes to the my Fleek website.
Yeah, let's check that out here real quick. So it's just a redirect.
Well, yeah, the earnest of Gaia.eth is just redirects to the crazy ass URL that they gave me, which it looks like I can might be able to modify that. But I haven't messed with that yet.
Fair. Yeah. Well, and during our previous live stream, I just went through the process of spinning up or signing up with Fleek with Yonk's team .eth, and also going to go through that process with my IRA fund .eth as well as 3win .eth. And I don't know what this is going to look like because would like to have that conversation sooner than later with the Fleek team as far as the enterprise stuff because uh, haven't and I probably won't just thinking out loud here go through that with my IRA until I have the conversation. But yeah, the playing around with different getting some different agents and what frameworks or whatever that we're going to use to do some of this like some of these other stuff over here might make more sense in like crew.ai that we were talking about crew AI, but we'll be having more conversations around design considerations, and this is where I'm going to put some of the reference research papers and other things that have been published on agentic AI design. And I don't know if I did that in resources. Go ahead, Ernest. Oh yeah, agentic
So
AI
soon
frameworks.
as essentially with my website, and it's got quite a bit of stuff that's not revealed. It's a website. It's like a really snazzy website. The template comes from Buterin Vitalik or Vitalik Buterin, whatever. And so I should be able to create like a dialogue window or a div in my website, and then can basically not my me fund agents, but my other agents then should be able to communicate through that window that I put in that website. So that when there's a research one built, you can go there, ask it research questions. And then, of course, if I can put it in a website, it can go, you know, you just need to engineer at that point to help a client get it into their system.
Nice.
But I think the website has that capability. And I think can feed my personalized my special chat GPTs into that window. So that's going to kind of be my first test. I'll either be able to do it with the chat GPT one, or I'll be able to do it with the agent that I'm designing in vector shift.
Yes, and
Because
that's probably a good opportunity to plug our tools working group. We haven't finalized the date and time on that. We're going to finalize that surrounding our upcoming research assistant working group, which is going to be 4 to 5 Mountain, 6 to 7 Eastern time on Saturday. I'll have that event coming up here. I did get the Luma, but the workflow automation, and this is one that I'm very excited about. And depending on when we get this finalized for, but this is one where, like, going back to some of those special agents, like the uh, Zapier, and figuring out how to do some of that, because there might be that functionality, but I got to take a better look at what how to get crew deployed in like the pro plan on Fleek. So that's something I'll see if there's any what's it called, stuff on the
yeah,
Discord
I haven't looked around their Discord. I've been trying to read through all their docs before I hopped into their Discord. Um, but yeah, I haven't had that. I'm going to add that to my task list Rolling task list is to ask some questions in some discords.
Win dev sub agency. And this is too, just thinking out loud of this agentic AI frameworks, the opportunity for us to have a dev sub agency within our ecosystem, that could elevate over time, because that's what's going to happen is that if we design our agentic AI frameworks well, these agents should be able to get better and better, and potentially even program better and than humans can, because they're more consistent and less error prone. And then, like, the ability for us, instead of having to learn how to be developers, we learn how to interact or just architect agentic AI frameworks, and then the ability to just make this super easy. And this is again what we're wanting to do with myIRA.Fund, is to make this a much better experience than what exists for uh, traditional finance, or just to engage with DeFi too, because that's one of our goals, is that we're wanting more access to DeFi through our individual retirement arrangements. So anyway, looking at the time, we've only got 4 minutes left. I'm going to stop talking and collect some thoughts from you all before we bring our office hours today to a close. And if anybody's watching on the live stream, feel free to chime in some thoughts if you would like something for consideration. We're going to be tomorrow doing the same time, slightly different channel, our another office hours, while we're continuing to move the conversations to get a minimum viable product launch. And there's still quite a bit of things that I'm going to do offline over here under the deliverables. But real quick, I'm going to talk about this. Let me here's the link. I just created this since our previous office hours. Please follow myIRA.fund on LinkedIn. And here's the link for that. Created a new company page on LinkedIn. Not much there yet. And this is another thing. Let me add that as because this is something that we could potentially add value to the ELIZA ecosystem, because right now there's not a template surrounding LinkedIn, is there?
There's a plugin. I don't know, but you're looking for a plugin.
That's what it's called, LinkedIn plugin.
LinkedIn plugin for ELIZA, I would say,
This
or for any
test?
agent probably. Vector Shift looks like Vector Shift has them by default in their template library. So I'm curious then. So do we need a campaign to design and execute a campaign to find the first 100 people?
I think that we need to go through some of this methodology. I would feel better like creating some invitation and conversations around some of these existing communities, and not sure what that would look like yet. But
Yeah, but
yeah.
first you design out your goals and objectives. So like we want to find 100 people, and then when you develop the strategy, then that's when you start bringing in the who that become part of that strategy. um I kind of have a Notion template that helps with that. And then of course, as this evolves,
And
but
part of the who to, Ernest, and this is, I think, some of the value proposition of having conversations around some of these other niches, because the opportunity for us to, while we're talking to like legal professionals, and I'm going to rename this here real quick because this is a slight branding pivot. We own
I'm just curious if
legal.
we need a working group that's just every day focused on just the campaign aspect of it. Like just like the first campaign goal would be to find 100 people. And then we're going to have questions, obviously, and need to go into the other meetings that we have. but I think a dedicated meeting once or twice a week that just develops that campaign and pushes the creation and design of that campaign so that we can execute it when we're ready would be a smart move.
Well, my thoughts is that I would really like a lot of this execution that we're talking about to be handled by AI agents.
No, you like it's not a robot. It's not.
I I will.
You
It
get
looks like
like
look. It looks like that there are templates to handle exactly what I'm talking about with Crew AI, but that's something that we can again.
you still gotta design and execute your strategy, right?
No,
And then
a
you
hundred, hundred percent,
use
100% agree. We have to tell the agents what to do, but it's very
yeah.
different. Yeah, that's the lens that I want to look through in the conversations is how to use, and if there's not existing templates or multi-agent templates for doing that, I think that that's an opportunity for us again to add value. But it looks like that there are those templates for those things with Crew AI templates. But I still haven't done anything as far as knowing what it looks like to get Crew AI set up.
I just
But
started
I'm gonna
playing around with Canvas
nice.
or Canva. That is some amazing stuff there.
The are you talking
That's
about
gonna
the art generator tool, Ernest?
it's not just art. It's it's everything you need for a marketing campaign to design, everything you need, all the tools that you would need to develop a marketing campaign, your branding, your projects, um, a whole lot. And in all the different formats that you need it in, whether you're talking about TikTok, LinkedIn. So once you have a project and a branding and a campaign, you can, okay, here's the here's the TikTok strategy, here's the this, here's the that. Um, but yeah, I just think we could have a work group dedicated to just working on that once a week, figuring out like what do we need, can how far can we use agents if you know um
I'm thinking that it won't take us that long to, but anyway, I might be unrealistic, but I think the opportunity for us to, start onboarding these people pretty quickly, because we've got, like I said, the thing that we need to work towards, the biggest priority between now and next week, a week from today, the 23rd, planning to pitch myIRA.fund. And that's one of the things, if we can find where we can potentially pitch Web3 to Web3 natives. And I feel a little bad because wasn't feeling 100% physically today, but there was a Bitcoin startup opportunity that I wasn't able to participate in, and the opportunity to network through these events. And then we've got also ETH Denver coming up, and so it'll be interesting to see if we can hit that 100 founding member threshold with myIRA.fund between now and ETH Denver. That's kind of my goal, but time will tell. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. Anybody else want to give us some final thoughts before we bring this office hours for myIRA.fund to a wrap here today?
So what I'm hearing is we need some marketing materials that you said AI can bring about to onboard people to the IRA, the first 100 people.
Yeah, we need to create a pitch deck, and I'm not sure what the terms are because I haven't gone through the process to apply for the Pitch Dojo pitch. And let me see what the presentations, 5 minutes. So that's the thought consideration. It's remote via Zoom, and the it looks like that the pitch presentations are about 45 minutes, 40 minutes, and then there's some voting methodology, and the the big opportunity, besides potentially, it's only a $500 pitch opportunity, but just being able to amplify and say, hey, like, I'm in various circles here in Colorado, and just being able to say, hey, I'm going to be pitching myIRA.fund. Watch this event, and But anyway, I'm going to bring this to a close. I hear Brooke having a fit in the background, and the question right now is, I mean, we've been convening around in an evening time slot. Do we want to come back and just do another AiAgents.Box office hours here this evening during that late time slot?
Yeah, what time is that?
That would be 8 Pacific, 9 Mountain, 10
Yeah,
10 Central.
yeah. So when are you wanting to work on the pitch deck?
I mean, we could jam on that. We can work on whatever on the office hours. There's some other things too, crossing some of these deliverables off the list, whatever that looks like. Because yeah, and one thing that I think we already created the unlock, but maybe the combination of a little bit on the pitch deck. I'll work on getting a template or that initial slide deck for that, and we can just figure it out. We've got this after or the rest of the evening, four more hours. I'll work on getting that office hours created for AiAgents.Box because again, this is something that I'm operating speed to market and getting early adopters advantage with getting this agentic AI frameworks deployed that we're wanting to create. I think will be provide some strategic advantages for what we're wanting to build. So yeah. Anyway, all right, we'll be back. We'll talk more on all of these agents. Rise 2025, the rise of AI agents. And that's another thing too, to just put it out here. I think the opportunity for us to start thinking about a podcast and whether we want to do the podcast like I'm thinking maybe even middle of February where we could launch the podcast maybe at ETH Denver on 3-win day. 3-3, March 3rd is 3-3 day. So let's think about that. Let's also we could jam on that a little bit during our office hours as seeing about who that we could get together, because that would also, I think, create some great live streaming and then repurposing a live stream as a podcast. And that's one of the things that we can create a value proposition with our member of AiAgents.Box, which we're having that be only $7 a year community dynamic. But anyway, we'll be back.